Okay, April 20th, it's mid-afternoon, 3 p.m. Central, and we now have the HAARP transmitting from Gakona, bouncing off a reflector surface here in Northern California and Nevada, and reaching into the Texas Panhandle and affecting the clouds and the rainfall. We can actually see this in the cloud pattern. Right here we can see these bars, a bunch of bars, and that way there is pointing towards Alaska. And these bars extend clear. These bars are visible clear up in Colorado. Here's one, and up in Kansas, big time. So if I unzoom, we can see a little more widespread. So they're sending so much energy down here so that it reaches Texas that they've got to splatter everything with millions of watts, to maybe get a quarter of the energy down here in Texas and kill these rainstorms. They got to splatter everybody with all this radio power. And there's, let me see, what was I going to show you? I'm going to show you the next rad where these bars actually show up. These bars are actually showing up on the weather radar pattern. Look here, these lines. These lines here. Basically, it's just going through Colorado and Nebraska, though. Okay, there are some here in Texas. Bang, bang, bang. But that's a lot of power. So, visible light, we can't see a whole lot, but look what happens if we look in water vapor mode. We see dry air being pressed to the surface here, just like I predicted, that if they can focus that HAARP beam well enough, then they heat the ionosphere, and underneath you have falling air. And up in Kansas we have some more of these ELF clouds facing northwest. So they are killing the rain in Texas again, and a bunch of chemtrailing too. So they're doing the full court press here to keep the rain out of Texas. Kind of makes you wonder who's doing it, so you can get your hands around their throat, doesn't it? Just look for who's got $1 billion and up, and you're going to find out it's a pretty small crowd who could be behind this. The other thing I was going to tell you or warn you about is if you go to the rapidfire NASA satellite server, you are going to find that they have some nasty spyware, worm or Java worm or something on there, and that will just mess up your computer. It runs my memory up to 100%, and then everything grinds to a halt. So this is that rapidfire web page that NASA runs is the one that destroyed my motherboard last week. Apparently they rewrote the BIOS, and then the motherboard can't talk to the video chip. At least that's what it appears to be at this point. But, I've got so many backup PCs. Boy, there's some really heavy chemtrailing going down in the Gulf of Mexico. I guess those chemtrail pilots had enough days off that now they're all back in the cockpit now. And incidentally, I found a picture of a chemtrail plane on the inside, and I think it's a real chemtrail plane. I'll have to make a video about that. But it's the real deal, because it appears to be the right two-part tanks, high-pressure pumps, symmetric for both sides, and it's clearly a passenger jet that's I mean, for spraying the potassium iodide to do cloud seeding, you don't need two equal-sized tanks. But chemtrails use these. It's a two-part polymer that makes a spider web, extremely thin spider web, way up there, and holds those metal pieces, those metal particles really high, as long as possible. Lots of chemtrails. You know, this makes another point I want to make, is that when they are doing a HAARP downburst, when they're doing a HAARP downburst, they will not chemtrail in front of the beam because it will block the beam. So see, they're trying to get the beam to hit right here, and they are getting it to hit there. So do they chemtrail in front of the beam? No, they chemtrail behind the target. So they chemtrail here, they chemtrail in the Gulf. Maybe that helps to keep the energy where they want it. But they are just brutal to this Texas Panhandle area. Okay, thank you.